called him the alien, others called him the god of football, but he always chose to be simply Lionel. 7 Ballon d'Or trophies, countless titles, and records thought to be unbreakable. Yet this story is not only written in triumph. This is a story of a man who rose every time he fell, who carried the weight of an entire nation on his shoulders, and who, in the end, lifted that missing piece, the World Cup, toward the sky. From the dusty roads of Argentina to the shimmering lights of Qatar. Lionel Andres Messi. Midnight. The hum of the plane isn't enough to quiet the noise inside your head. You're sunk into your seat. Your body is there, but your soul is still hanging on that cursed white spot. Even with your eyes closed, there's no escape. In the dark, the memory of that final kick keeps coming back. "It's over," you said, right after the match, your voice trembling. "I'm done with the national team." In that moment, it wasn't just a tournament you were letting go of. It felt like you were lifting an entire nation's hopes off your shoulders and letting them fall. That moment keeps rewinding in your mind like a film reel. When you picked up the ball for the penalty, it felt impossibly heavy, like it weighed 1,000 pounds. Nobody noticed. The cameras didn't catch it, but your hands were shaking. The coolest man in the world was, in that instant, being crushed under the weight of history. Your heartbeat was pounding in your ears like a drum, and it was just you, alone, with your silent scream. And now, you're thinking, somewhere above the clouds. Who was this man? A boy who climbed from the narrow streets of Rosario to the brilliant lights of Barcelona, and from there to the very top of the game. The story of a legend actually begins here, at the very start of the road that leads to this deep, aching sorrow. This is not just the story of a footballer. This is the story of a giant who defied the impossible. This is the story of Lionel Messi. The year is 1987, Rosario, Santa Fe. The hard winds of South America, carrying the sharp smell of steel and dust. Your father, Jorge, has hands roughened by factory work. Your mother, Celia, is cleaning other people's homes, trying to build a future. For you, that place isn't just a dot on a map. The cracked pavements of Los Harris are your first pitch, your first sanctuary, your first love. You're barely 4 years old. You're not much taller than a football. And beside you is the North Star of your life, your grandmother, Celia. She takes your hand and walks you to that dirt pitch in the neighborhood, right into the chaos of it all. You haven't learned to write your name yet. You can't read the alphabet, but the moment that ball touches your foot, it's like you've unlocked every secret the universe holds. This isn't just talent, it's a sacred instinct written into your DNA, your bones, your very soul. As if that small boy already knew, in that very first touch, that he would one day become the greatest the world had ever seen. You're 8 years old. When you walk through the enormous gates of the Newell's Old Boys Academy, the pitch looks like an ocean. You're smaller than everyone, slimmer than everyone, seemingly more fragile than everyone. But the moment the ball meets your foot, the laws of physics stop making sense. Your teammates call you La Pulga, the flea. Small, unstoppable, and impossible to shake off. As you glide like a ghost between towering opponents, something becomes unmistakably clear. There is something very special here. Time passes, calendar pages turn, but your height stays frozen at that same small mark. You turn 10. Your peers are stretching upward, their shoulders broadening, their voices deepening. You're still in the same place. The quiet fear in your family's eyes slowly gives way to a deeper, heavier worry. Something is wrong. And this silent waiting is, day by day, slowly narrowing your world. You're in the doctor's office. The plastic chair beneath you feels like ice. The air in the room is as heavy as lead. Your father, Jorge, sits beside you. His hands clasped so tightly, his knuckles have gone white. His eyes aren't on you. They're fixed on nothing. The doctor delivers the cold verdict. Growth hormone deficiency. There is treatment, but it comes at a price. $1,000 a month. A battle that will last for years. Even if you gathered every coin your father ever earned at that steel factory, it still wouldn't reach the top of that mountain. The doctor doesn't say there is no treatment, but that number slams shut like a door over every last shred of hope. The drive home is a graveyard silence. Not a word is spoken. When you walk inside, you hear the sound of dishes clinking in the kitchen, and then a muffled sob quickly swallowed. Your mother, Celia, is crying. She doesn't want you to hear, but those sobs seep into every corner of the house. Your father sits down, opens his newspaper, but his eyes don't move over a single word. In that moment, you understand. Life isn't only boxing you into a corner on the pitch, it's doing it inside your own home too. On the pitch, you're small. At home, you feel even smaller. As the world around you grows larger, you seem to be shrinking, but in the dark corner of your room, buried in dust, something glimmers. Your ball. It sits there, waiting, without judgment. The next morning, when the sun rises, despite the ache in your legs and the heaviness in your heart, you go back to it, because they can take everything from you. Your health, your money, your future. But when that ball is at your feet, you are still the most powerful boy in the world. You have nothing else. And honestly, you need nothing else. 2 full years, time stretches and compresses, but the money never adds up. Insurance covers fragments. Treatment starts, then stops. Hope flickers on, then dies out. Childhood games have been replaced by a dark nightly ritual. Every evening, that cold syringe on your bedside table. The familiar burning sensation as the needle breaks the skin. The ache spreading through your legs becomes your only lullaby. A needle before sleep, then rest tangled with pain. For a 13-year-old boy, life has turned into a nightly battle, hurting yourself just to grow. While you are 13, a foreign shadow falls over the dusty pitches of Rosario. A man has come from thousands of kilometers away, from Barcelona. He watches you and he cannot look away. Then he comes back again, and word reaches one of football's most legendary minds, Carlos Rexach. The club's sporting director wants to see for himself the enormous talent hidden inside that small frame. And then, the offer comes. Come to Spain. Show us what you can do. For the first time, you're inside one of those great metal birds, an aeroplane. You're 13 years old. Beside you, your father carries the weight of your whole life on his shoulders. Everything you know shrinks below you into tiny dots. As you stare out at the clouds, the sounds of Rosario echo in your ears. Your grandmother Celia's warm, gentle voice, the wild noise of neighborhood matches, the sharp, dusty smell that stings the back of your throat. You're not just leaving a city behind, you're leaving your childhood, and as you fly toward the unknown, your heart is still beating back in Rosario. The moment your feet touch the grass in Barcelona, time seems to stop. The trial match begins. As you glide across the pitch, the murmur around you fades into a cemetery stillness. Every touch, every move is like a blow struck against the laws of physics. One run, then another. In the stands, Rexach is scribbling notes furiously on a piece of paper. But then, there comes a moment when he puts the pen back in his pocket. He stops taking notes, because he realizes that what he is watching cannot be described in words. It can only be witnessed in a kind of quiet, helpless wonder. And then, that legendary second when the course of football history changed forever. The offer is on the table. The doors of La Masia swing wide open, and Barcelona says, "We will take care of your treatment, all of it." Rexach, caught up in the urgency of the moment, reaches for a plain paper napkin from the table. He scrawls something across it and signs his name. That simple scrap of paper is no longer just a napkin. It is the most sacred document in one boy's life, in one club's destiny, and in the entire history of world football. The story is only now truly beginning. You're in Barcelona, but every morning when you wake up, instead of your mother's warm voice, you're greeted by the freezing silence of your room. Your siblings' cheerful noise is gone. The dusty, sharp smell of Las Heras, gone. Barcelona's streets are polished, orderly, and entirely foreign. Your teammates speak Catalan. Words float past in the air, but none of them reach your heart. You don't understand. And the less you understand, the more you retreat into yourself, building your world entirely out of your own silence. You speak so little, you disappear so completely into yourself, that some of your teammates actually believe you are mute, that you have lost the ability to speak. You won't find this out until years later, once you've become a legend. Back then, you are nothing more than a small, silent shadow drifting through the corridors of a great club, looking at everything around you with sad, distant eyes. But the moment you step onto the pitch, That withdrawn boy vanishes and something else takes his place. Out there, language doesn't matter. Out there is only the ball, those legs strengthened by years of injections, and a burning passion coiled in your chest, ready to explode. Cesc Fabregas watches you. Gerard Piqué stares, and everyone is spellbound. On the pitch, you speak without words, without accent, without limits. Your language is the impossible trail you leave behind as you cut through your opponents. The year is 2004. You're just 16 years old, but you're wearing that legendary Barcelona shirt, a friendly match. The instant the ball touches your foot for the first time, thousands of people in the stadium hold their breath at once. You feel it, that heavy, electric, awe-filled silence running through you for the very first time. The world is beginning to sense the storm that is about to break. Seasons turn. The name Messi spreads from ear to ear. You're now playing alongside Ronaldinho, the magician who enchanted world football at that time. After a training session, drenched in sweat, Ronaldinho walks over to you. He rests his hand on your shoulder, looks you in the eyes, and whispers, "You could be better than me." In that moment, you know this isn't a compliment or a joke. He is passing his torch to you. The greatest in the world is greeting the one who will become the greatest in the world. Time flows like a river, and you rise above it like a giant. Goals pour down like a storm. Your dribbling rewrites the rulebook of football. The Ballon d'Or, that golden trophy given to the best in the world, rises in your hands, then again and again. The entire planet murmurs your name. But behind those glittering scenes, beneath that immaculate shirt, you are still that small boy from Rosario, the one who remembers every single night the burning sting of a needle in his legs. At club level, you claim everything there is to claim. Repeatedly, your hands grip the handles of the Champions League trophy. You dominate La Liga. You bring the Copa del Rey home. By now, to say Barcelona is to say Messi. To say Messi is to say Barcelona. Argentina. That word is not just a country's name for you. It's the enormous boulder sitting on your chest. Winning with your club is professionalism. Winning with the national team is a different kind of reckoning. It is penance. This is the hardest, most unforgiving test you must pass. Again and again, you walk to that door. You reach for the handle. But every time, it slams in your face. Fate chooses the most tender part of you to test. Every single time you pull on that sacred shirt. The 2007 Copa América final. Brazil stands across from you, the eternal rival. The 3-0 scoreline on the board becomes the first deep wound on your soul. You're barely 20 years old. Your body is fresh. Your hope is alive. There's time, you tell yourself. I'm only just getting started. You feel the cold of that defeat. But you don't yet know that this is only the opening act of a nightmare that will last for years. Then comes 2014, the heavy, humid air of Rio de Janeiro, the World Cup final. 90 agonizing minutes against Germany, followed by extra time that seems to stretch on forever. In the 113th minute, Mario Götze's shot finds the back of the net. At slips off its axis way shit conscience. The 2015 Copa América final. Chile's harsh winds. The match ends. Penalties begin, and fate turns its back on you again. You lose. Just 1 year later, 2016 proves that history truly does repeat itself. Chile again, another final, another set of nerve-shredding penalties. It's as if the sky itself has padlocked something over Argentina and thrown the key to the bottom of the ocean. After that match, you stand in front of the cameras. Your eyes are red, raw from tears and sleepless nights, and those devastating words fall from your lips. I think that's it for me. The national team is over for me. This is best for everyone. I tried so hard. I really tried, but I can't win. Nobody suffers more than me from this. The words come out like bullets. You can't stop them. A legend is writing his own farewell anthem, in tears. But this is not the beginning of an end. This is the story of a rebirth from impossible ashes. In the next episode, a man returns with the tears of an entire nation behind him, ready to settle an unfinished score, daring death itself in the deserts of Qatar. Before the king can reclaim his crown, he must first pass through hell. Lionel Messi, The Last Dance, coming next Sunday.